They are just absolutely phenomenal. I am live now on Facebook, and know that you have to give StreamYard permission to post your to post to Facebook. So know that if you see that, that's what that's about. Okay. So I am just thankful for being able to come forward today to say God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. You know, just like we're going through these technological difficulties this morning, because I practice and practice and practice. And how many of you all know that even when you practice, she says she's in the green room, but I don't see her. Even when you practice, things don't go perfectly. Um, Even when you practice, things don't go perfectly. So I'm thankful for how we are still moving. Oh, that's why I sent the wrong link. Let me do this again. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me try this one more time. She says she's in the green room, but I don't see her. So that may be because I sent the wrong link. So let's do this one more time, guys. I practiced and I practiced and I practiced this multiple times, and still here I am trying to get it together. So that's just like marriage. You know, in marriage, we practice and we uh, try to get it together, and we do what we do, and things aren't always perfect for us. So know that that does not mean that God is not there to help us. He always comes in and helps us through the hard times and through the difficult times of life. So just know that no matter, don't give up. That's the point I'm getting at. Do not give up, because just because it looks like it's not going as well as you want to see it go doesn't mean that it's not going to work out well. It is going to work out, but you've got to say, hey, I refuse to give up. I refuse to give in. I refuse to lay down. And that's what I did basically for the 29 years I was married. I refused to give up. I refused to give in. I refused to lay down. I just continued on and believed that I was going to see things shift. And I began to study marriages. That's what brought me here today. Not because I wanted to teach about it, not because I wanted to do anything except be married well myself. So when I began to study marriages, I began to learn how to operate in the vein of marriage. And I'm so happy to say that there are other couples that did the same thing. There are other couples that did the same thing. So I'm sending them the new link, and that's I'm sorry, guys. I sent them the old link. I'm sending them the new link. Okay. So now they'll be with us in a minute. So I that's what prompted me to write the book, When the Rain Falls, the Flower Blooms. Because when the rain falls, you know, it's indicative of having difficulties in your relationship. But when the rain falls, think about what rain does. Rain begins to help things to grow. And when the rain nourishes the flowers and the plants, and helps our crops to begin to become better, more nourished, it feeds us. So that's I was actually watching Bridgerton. This book, I started this book in 2017. I started this book in about 4 years before I finally got it written. But in those years, I was just really going through different things, different things. My husband had passed at that point, the year that I started this book. My husband had passed at that point. Thank you. There's Dr. Marlena. Let me add her to the stream. Thank you. Got you. I just
Hey,
let. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we are live on Facebook now. So thank you so much.
okay.
My husband, I started writing the book when my husband passed. And Let me let them know I sent them a new link. Okay. So when my husband passed, I started writing the book, and I was in the back seat of the car actually with a couple of people coming from Wisconsin, and we began to talk about marriage. And when we talked about marriage, just began to jot down some things that I learned over the years concerning marriage, just some points for chapters. And that's what you see when you see the book, When the Rain Falls, the Flower Blooms. That's what you see when you see that those chapters, those notes that I jotted down. But it would take me 4 more years before I would finally publish this book. Before I would finally publish this book. So I want you all to know that, just like the wonderful doctor said this morning, when the rain falls, the flower blooms. When things are not going so well, it may look like it's too difficult to manage. It may look like things are too hard to fathom. But let me tell you, in order to have those beautiful days, you have got to have some rainfall. So know that the rain is not indicative of anything that's going to hurt you or even mess you up. The rain is indicative of growth. Growth is coming. You'll be nurtured and nourished in the rain, but know that growth comes behind the hard times. So I'm so excited to be on Facebook Live now, to have YouTube streaming, and everybody's on point. Yep. And I got Dr. Marlena Sherman Linton is on the line with us, my wonderful BFF. Actually, I met her the same time I met Michael and Robbie. Glory to God. Amen. We were all in the Dentley's Inspired to Speak camp. And I mean, the relationship has blossomed and into so much beauty that I am just thankful for their impartation and input in my life. So I don't want to prolong the time, but I want to introduce to you, this fantabulous, phenomenal, exciting, beautiful, absolutely extraordinary, elegant. I don't know how many other adjectives I can come up with, but that's how I feel about them. Honestly, they are the couple's couple. They are the people that you want to talk to and you want to meet and just hear from. So I'm going to go into the background as I introduce Michael and Robbie Mathews. And let me tell you how different they are. They don't even spell Matthews with 2 T's, okay? They even spell it differently, okay? So I want to call them doctors because that's what I feel. When they enter the equation, they begin to work surgery in your heart. So I want to thank God for them coming on the screen with us and being our first guest as we go through the When the Rain Falls, the Flower Blooms, and talk about marriage and how they can bless us today. So this 24-year married couple is now before you to release the wisdom. I'm asking you, I'll put your phones on mute and so that we can make sure that we can hear them clearly. And I just want to make sure they're on the screen right. Dr. Marlena, can you see them? Do you
I
see
can.
them?
I can. If you select the choice to bring them forward, you actually drop us out of the stream. Just remove you and I from the stream.
Okay, that's cool. Okay.
All right. Let me straighten up a little bit. Can you guys hear us? Can you see us and hear us? We can't hear you. We can't hear.
I hear you guys. Fine. I'm going to stay on the screen with you guys. I hear you. Dr. Marlene, I put you in the background. So yes. So Michael and Robbie Mathews, come on. Let the Lord use you all. However you want to bring it forth, you got the floor. Thank you.
I'll start off by saying thank you for even considering my wife and I to be the inaugural first members on the Pastor Torrey show. And it's a wonderful experience from humbleness and gratefulness in a place of gratitude. Because like we know a lot of powerful couples who share the same love for their spouses as myself and I. So we're not special. We're just one of a group of special people that we all inspire to be around. I would say that. If you know what I mean by inspired to be around. Okay. Now, as Pastor Joe Osteen says, I like to start off with something funny. But since I'm not Pastor Joe Osteen, I like to start off with something serious.
Mm.
And that is before I turn it over to my wife, because I'm a gentleman, I just want to give thanks to all of the empowering women around the world that are viewing on this YouTube channel, this Facebook channel, this StreamYard channel, and on the phones anywhere in the world because the men that I'm around are like me. We encourage, we motivate, and we just promote and we support all women, even if it's not my wife. We support all women, even when I'm not around my wife. I say the same exact thing. So I just want to say, I tip my hat to you ladies, and I'll turn it over to my wife, and then we will get into the reason why we are really here. That's my Pastor Joe Osteen, Michael Bart Matthews.
Okay, Pastor. So, yes, I appreciate being here. Thank you, Pastor Tori, for inviting us. You know, we've been married for 24 years, but we were friends before we got married. And part of our wedding vows, we took, well, let's just say I took some words out because I know how I am, right? So, and one thing about our relationship is that we accept each other the way we are, the way we came in to the relationship, the kind of people we are still the same people, and we respect and appreciate the differences as well as the similarities, which are the majority of we like all the same things in basically the same way. All right. So when we got married, in the vows, it was to love, of course, and to obey. And I said, I'm not going to say that because I can't guarantee that I'm going to obey you. So we might as well just take that out. And so he said, well, you have to put in another word. I said, what word? He said, well, at least put in compromise. So we put. I said love and compromise because yeah, obey was not quite something I could promise and swear to for the rest of my life. So, and the other thing that we took out of it was, of course, is sickness and health. Absolutely, that would always be there. But for richer or for poor, and that's like, no, we're not going down the poorer route. So I'm not going to vow to be poorer. So you have to know who you are before you get married and make those adjustments and acceptances of each other's differences so that there aren't surprises when you get into the marriage. And I know, Michael, he gets on my nerves, but the good thing is I get on his nerves more. So it balances itself out, so to speak. But your book where you have the research and run. I read that chapter, and it was very much on point because sometimes we have to run. I was always a resistance person. I was a stand and fight, stand my ground. But I found out that I didn't necessarily always have to be resistant and to be just say, okay, fine, let's just do it that way because that's how I was. He's the rational, reasonable, calming person in the relationship, and I'm like, let's get it done, let's get it out the way and move on, right? So we definitely balance each other out in that way, and those are the things that you as a couple have to understand each person's strengths and each person's weaknesses, and then you make up for the weaknesses that person has, then that should become your strength, and the strengths that they have that should not, I wouldn't say necessarily become your weaknesses, but let that person have those strengths and let each person have their own strengths, and respect those things. So, but you have to learn, we had to learn each other to, like you said, the computer stuff and how I had to teach him about the computer stuff. And, it's like, well, Michael, sometimes you just have to jump in there and do your research, right? And so you have to research. So I would let him research and then I'd run. Because the way sometimes you learn is you have to go through trial and error. And in 24 years, we have to go through trial and error and make sure, make sure that we know what's important to each other, and the things that are important to each other, we respect that. The little trivial stuff, we don't go to bed mad at each other. He might have, got on my nerves. I might have got on his nerves, but it's just something. He might have left the milk out, or I might have left the milk out, or something trivial. We don't fight over big things because we're on the same page. We have the same goals, the same dreams, and we may go down different paths to get there because we are each individuals, but we are a unit. So we're may be going down separate paths, but we get to the same place. And so that's what's important in a marriage is respect and love, and above all, friendship. Because he's my best friend, and you fight with your best friends from time to time. You fight with your best friends from time to time. Just like you fight with your siblings or you fight with your children, but you still love each other, and that's the point.
Well, we don't fight because I am Don Quixote rebuilt. We don't fight. I am Don Quixote when it comes to my wife and my respect for women in her presence and outside of her presence. We as men, sometimes we will make a mistake here and there, but you can have intentional thinking and an intentional marriage. And what do I mean by an intentional marriage? First, a man and a woman, both of us as individuals, we should understand who we are as a person first. What are our goals? What are our dreams? What is our mission? What is our reason? What is our why? What is our purpose? And when we can look in the mirror and define that to ourselves, then you can bring something to the table. Because one person may bring steak to the table and the other one can only bring a hamburger. But if you don't like hamburgers, just bring the potatoes and the fries then to go along with the steak, and you all have a happy meal together. And that's like how a marriage is. She has a plethora of knowledge and wisdom from being 40 plus years in corporate America that I don't have because I didn't take that corporate America route. Woo-hoo! Which I am so glad I took the entrepreneur route because I didn't have to deprogram my mind from how corporate America trains you. But nothing bashing about corporate America because some of the biggest and brightest and smartest and successful people have come from corporate America that we had the privilege to be on some of the same stages with and some of the same audiences with, and also speaking with and learning from by taking copious notes on relationships, on business, spirituality, and just how life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness actually is. So for me, I don't sweat the small stuff because it's only small stuff. And when she says get on her nerves, it's not get on your nerves to the point where her hair standing on her head like Lucille Ball and one of her comedian shows back in the day for all of you baby boomers who know who Lucille Ball is. But for the millennials who may not know Lucille Ball, she was a comic back in the day, and some of her skits, her hair was all over the place when her and Ricky had a dispute. But it was all in fun. So if you take that in real life and just look at yourself and say, how can I make me better? Because when you make you better, your wife or your husband or your partner can see that you're better. You're going on a higher level. And if they really love themselves, not conceited love, but really love themselves, because if you can't love yourself, it's kind of really hard to love somebody else. So before I knew my wife, I was in love with Big Mike, meaning to the point that I would do anything legal, moral, and ethical to become a better me, to respect other people, men and women, young and old, no matter where they were or where I ran into. So when I started getting older and then got married, I understood my position as a man that I had to stand up and be a certain type of man if I wanted my wife to even see me in the light of being somebody that when she saw the book cover, which was this handsome face, Then when she opened up to the introduction, that then chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 to chapter 24 years worth of chapters was still the same as the book cover that she saw 24 years ago.
I rewrote a few of those chapters though.
Nah, she added some content, but
I
I
put some footnotes and some, some things in there.
yeah, you did. You enhanced my journey. You enhanced my being. You enhanced me. And that's one of the things that men should do is give their wife or all women credit, verbal credit as well, not just because we came from baby boomers came from the good old boys school. And I can't blame my father or my grandfather or my great grandfather, but they only taught what they knew. And what I was taught or what I was seeing is something that I didn't want to be, meaning I wanted to be like this. I wanted to be like this. I wanted to be like this. I wanted to be that whole man, that whole husband, that whole person. And that means if you take off your glasses and you feel emotion, and sometimes you may want to cry, it's okay to cry in front of your wife or other women. That doesn't make you less of a man. It shows them that you are emotional, that she has done her job by tapping into your central nervous system. And when your wife or partner can tap into your central nervous system and you feel the emotional relationship within that relationship, that it moves you to the point of tears, happy tears or sad tears, because something needs to be course corrected. But either way, move you to that point, you know that you're on the right track with the right person for the right reasons, going in the right direction, because you all have arrived.
And so, I mean, like I said, getting to know each other, the research, as you put it, Dr. Torrey, takes time.
Mhm.
But what it requires also is a willingness to really get to know the person that you're living with and to understand where they're coming from, understand their likes, their dislikes, understand how they want to live their life and what's important to them. And once you understand those things, then as much you don't have a lot of the run part that you have to deal with or the resistance part because you're in sync. And I like the analogy or the story in the book about you're driving in the directions. Oh, thank goodness for Google Maps, because all you have to do is just push the button and let Google or tell him where to go. You don't have to say anything anymore. So that did save a lot of no, go this way, no, turn this way, or okay, I know where I'm going, and just you sitting over there being quiet. So you just put Google Maps and push the talk button, and you're good. So knowing that now you're all going in the right direction alleviates a lot of that old time stress of trying to find those directions. So I can definitely relate to that story about the finding the directions and which way to go. But even that's the same thing in your marriage, in your relationship. You have to find the directions and you have to put it on autopilot and know which way you all are going. You have to be going in the same direction. And even if you run into a detour, you have to decide which direction you want to take that detour, and you work together. And particularly one of the areas I definitely know as a married couple that we work together on is our finances, because it's very important that everyone knows where the money is, and where the money is going, and what you're trying to accomplish. Because if you got one spouse out there shopping with all the good things, that you want to buy, ladies, how many purses and bags and dresses have you kind of snuck in the house and hung in the closet and pretended that they have been there all along, right? I'm just speaking from, I used to do that back in the day. Yes, I did. Also, I was a shoe addict. I'm still a recovering shoe addict there. So, a lot of things that we had to come together on, getting our credit together, getting our looking at our incomes, getting our credit, and then saying, hey, we need to make more money. So, and Michael, especially early in our marriage, was like, well, we need to make more money. So he worked 3 different jobs. He worked 7 days a week. He did what was necessary to bring in the resources so that we could accomplish the financial goals that we had set for ourselves. Because finances is a major source of not of divorce. It's a major source of stress, and it could lead to could lead to death if you are so stressed out about your money and your finances. So having a financial plan together, knowing, like I said, where the money is going. Each of you have your little fun spending money so that you don't have to do the sneaking around and doing things, but making sure you're taking care of what I like to say. There's three categories of spending your money. The first category is spend to survive. Your rent, your food, your medicine, things of that nature. Your emergency fund goes into that survive category. And then you spend to thrive, and that's where you have your insurance to protect and take care of your family in case something happens to you, or you're paying off and you're paying down your debts and things of that nature. And then you spend to feel alive, and that's where you have the fun, your little fun spending money, ladies, where you can go buy those shoes that you don't need, the purses that you don't need, and so on and so forth, or take that vacation or even buy that dream car. So you have to know where you're spending your money. And as you start filling in those categories, and what's left over, you put into the next category, and then what's left over, you put into the third category. Oftentimes, we want to spend to feel alive first, because that's just human nature. But you have to resist that urge and do the things that are important. So when you do spend on the feel alive things, you're doing it guilt free because you've taken care of the things that are most important to your family and to what your goals are that you set together. And the one thing I have learned from Michael
The
is,
one thing, just one?
well, I've learned a lot of things,
Well,
but
thank
the
you.
one thing I want to mention right now,
Okay.
and that is patience. So I was very impatient, and I wanted things to move in a certain pace. That's my 40 years of corporate America, and I had to have things move in a certain pace, at a certain time, a certain way. And so he's taught me patience. As he was talking about emotion, I learned patience from him, and a high level of tolerance, because I was, certain things I'm just, like I don't want to deal with that. So you have to learn from each other, take the best from each other, and adapt those skills from each other. And that's what has pretty much gotten us through marriage. And the other thing, we don't allow others to interfere in our marriage. Whatever decisions we make or however we feel about each other is based on our experiences and not based on other people's experiences. You have to keep other people out of your marriage. It's okay to seek advice but seek advice from people that have your best interest in heart.
Right. And we are coachable. We are coachable. And our coach, Dr. Sir Dr. James Dentley,
Sir Dr.
when
Reverend.
Sir Dr. Reverend Dentley, he always says, and individually or collectively to us, and probably to other people as well, when on the financial side, he doesn't get into your real background. He just listens to what you tell him, and I hope you're telling him the truth like Robbie and I does. And one of his comments is always, make more money. It's a real simple line, and then he tells us different stories, with his background, and some stories about Bill Walsh, which I'm not going to repeat here. Those are his stories to tell, but he wouldn't mind if I did, but I'm not going to go there. And listening to those stories of adversity, and then how you driving through and then continue to go, and leaving those in the rearview mirror of your life, because the windshield is bigger. It's true. Making more money will solve whatever financial problems that we may have. Especially if it's a bad investment, which we have had. If it's a loan that you gave somebody, but never loaned somebody some money that you need. So when we loaned it to them, we didn't need it to survive off of, but we would have liked it back. But we didn't call and ask them for it. We just continued to press forward. That type of thing. So I guess the first and baseline root, besides the spiritualness that you guys have, or the relationship you have with your wife, is the relationship you have with money. Now, I'm unapologetically always going to say, from the millionaire to the 100 millionaire to the billionaire, because the more money you make, too much is given, much is required. So the more money you make, the more people you can serve on a higher level. So you can't give from a half full cup. You can always give from the overflow. So I want to be blessed and highly favored with an abundance of wealth because I already serve and help others on the level that we're on and continue to do that. I'm sorry.
He's getting all choked up.
Because as I think about this, I'm thinking about a lot of people that I know who you can hit them upside the head with a hammer and they won't get their finances straight. But the next day they'll call you and asking you for some money. But when you can give them a seat at the table, introduce them to all of the fine people who are probably listening to this broadcast today, and it's not about Michael Robbie, it's not about Dr. Dinley, it's not about Pastor Torrey, it's not about any of us. It's about when you bring somebody to the table, our job is to give them a hand up and not a handout. Because if you keep giving a person a handout, there's no real growth. But if you give them a hand up, now you're giving them knowledge, wisdom, support, education, information. And the same is true in the marriage. Researching the marriage, I push rewind to when we first met. And then I'll fast forward it every year all the way up here to the things that I don't want to repeat. But I go there to say, wow, that happened. And then I look at the things that happened and worked and how can I amplify and autopilot those same emotions, those same feelings, those same activities within the marriage. So it's just coming all into one crock pot of love. And when you stir it all up, you're getting a real romanticized situation with your wife or your partner or your husband. So it's not easy, but it's not difficult. Because if you love yourself, unconceited love, if you love yourself, and if you love your partner, you will take your eyes off of yourself and say, what is it that you want? Or how can I help you? Because as I help you, you will automatically, in turn, eventually help me. If you don't get it in the very beginning, that's okay. But what you see as you go take one step at a time, and the helping, serving, how can I help? How can I serve? That also is within your marriage. It's just not helping and serving other people who may be in need of a hand up and not a handout. Your spouse or your partner needs a help and a serve from you as well.
Absolutely. It's you have to have a serving spirit in order to really survive, even survive in a marriage, because I don't look at my marriage as an obligation. Just because we said vows and promise to do all this, that, and the other, it's not an obligation. It's a servant minded mentality. I want to make sure that I'm the kind of wife that's going to make him happy, that's going to fulfill him, even though, yeah, I might get on his nerves. However, it's just I can't help it. What can I say? But he is, he's my world. He's my life. He's my friend. He's my partner. And he's a person I can bounce things off. He can bounce things off of me. And we have a true partnership. So you as you go through your marriage and you look at all of the things that you don't like or you do like, and you talk about them. You have to communicate. Even if sometimes it's difficult, you don't in the mood, you don't want in the mood, you don't want to talk, but you have to communicate. At some point, you have to say what you don't like, what you do like, and have those conversations, but have them after you've taken a breath or taken a day or taken a step back. Try not to, and I'm saying this because I still have to try not to say, we never use foul, we don't cuss each other, we don't do any of that kind of stuff. Now, like I said, we don't do that. But sometimes, if he's, especially when it comes to the computer. Now that is the area where we have our most disagreements. Like, Michael, just push the button. Michael, just push the button. Michael, push the button.
Well, I'm like Dr. Marlena was. I'm like Dr. Marlena was this morning when she used speed of implementation. When Pastor Tori said, "Does anybody want to open us up with a prayer?" And she used speed of implementation. I'm the same way when it comes to the business side of what we do in our marriage. Even though I understand, I need to understand and know the technology side. But if I'm in a position where if my wife, who has 40 years of technology experience, can handle this in 2 minutes, and it took me 2 hours, and I still didn't do it. Where if she would have done it within those 2 hours, I could have sent out the contract, had it signed and back in, and more money was coming into the business. So that's the computer side of the nervousness that she says, which gets on our nerves. Because me, I do know I'm slowly getting better with the computer on certain things. Because I do take time to go back and deal with those deficiencies in the technology side that I have. But this is about, in a marriage, this is another teachable moment. This is a point where you can lead, you can follow, and you can get out of the way, but it got to get done. So whichever one in the relationship has that knowledge and wisdom and experience, whatever that time and subject or place is, that's the person that should be leading. And the other person shouldn't have a chip on his or her shoulder because of, if it's men, because of the old male stereotypes. You know how the country was born with no women. So that was the start of, for me, saying it's an unequal balance of the relationships of men and women when you start a whole country that has women in it and you don't have any woman at the table. So I'm like, okay. And then that glass ceiling. Who even made that proverbial glass ceiling? It surely wasn't a woman, but she busted through it, didn't she? Didn't you?
That's right.
So my point being is, men, if you can look at women and your spouse as equal contributors to the table based on her knowledge or experience and what she brings to the table and what in your marriage, in your friendship, and in your business, that you can take the blindfold off of the justice scale, and it will tip evenly like this. And you all will just go to a higher level.
And women, we have to sometimes, step back and just, let the man lead, because, sometimes we like to take the lead and just move and get things, just get it to move on. But it's okay. It's okay to sit back. It's okay to adopt some of the traditional male female roles, not because that's, you have to do it, but it's you have to share. You have to share in your relationship. Men have certain traits, women have certain traits. We have interchangeable traits, and so we use all of each other's traits in a relationship. And sometimes, it's like, make the decision. I don't care, do whatever it is you want to do, and that's fine. It doesn't matter who is doing the task, as Michael was saying. It's a matter of, long as the task gets done to both of you all's satisfaction. And sometimes you may not be happy with it, but it's okay. It's not a big, don't sweat the small stuff. If he goes out and buys some big giant,
Rolls
Royce, and I don't know about it, now then we got a problem.
No, she'll just get her own keys. That'll alleviate that problem, won't it?
Well, yeah, that would. Yeah, that would. But if he goes out and buy a big Harley motorcycle, then we got a big problem, because I'm not getting on anybody's motorcycle, and that has to go back. So we might have to, we're gonna have some problems with that one. But there's certain things in life that life is too short. We've all experienced that, especially with COVID. Life is too short. So love each other, support each other, respect each other, communicate with each other, work together on your goals, work together on your finances, so that you're not stressing yourself out for no reason. And you can have 24 years of a happy marriage, 24 years and counting of a of a friend, because like I said, we're friends. We enjoy each other's company. We eat dinner each night together. Turn off the phones, put the phones down. We haven't done as many date nights as we used to because of the COVID, but we're changing that. We're going to try to do a little bit more date night and just spend time and enjoying each other because we work hard all day on our businesses to keep things moving forward, so we can give back and we can share a lot of the things that we've learned. That's part of who we are collectively, is the ability to share what we've learned with others, and that's part of why we're here today. Is because we just want to share what we feel, share what we believe, and if something we've said has helped you, helped your relationship, then that's what makes us happy as well. Is being That's part of our servant mentality.
Right, right. So when you look at your marriage, who do you see? Are you that couple that you want to be? While going through your relationship, do you think in your mind, I know we were both made one of a kind. Inch by inch, my marriage is a cinch. But yard by yard, my marriage is hard. Relationship improvement may be hard to accept. It's the best improvement my marriage should not reject. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm happy. I love to joke. I love to have fun because when your mind is open like a parachute or you're laughing and joking, like Joe Osteen says, I like to start with something funny. So if I can keep you smiling, keep your mind open like a parachute, more of this will sink in. Because we didn't say take copious notes, which was a big mistake early on. So I just hope you guys took copious notes and pens and paper and just took copious notes. See, Pastor Tori's back on, so we're going to invite her back in to say a few words.
Thank you so much. Wow, you guys said so much today. Really, you guys covered so many bases to help to strengthen the relationship. So I thank you all. Let me ask this question. How many times have you guys been married?
3 times. 3 times. We got married. The traditional. No, sorry. We had a secret, what we call a secret marriage, where we only had the witness and the pastor, because we wanted to kind of start our marriage off in church. Then we had the official.
That was my idea.
That was his idea. That was his idea.
See, men are spiritual too. That was my idea.
That was his idea. So that's back to make your compromises. I mean, I'm not a church going person. I'm a spiritual person. So we did that, and then we got married. We had the big public, country club wedding for all our friends and family. They didn't know we had already legally got married. So we did reveal that after a few years. My kids weren't happy about that, but it's like, oh well. And then we renewed our vows after our first anniversary. So we said I do 3 times. So I told him he'd have to divorce me 3 times and he'd have to pay alimony 3 times. So it's cheaper to keep her.
I'm in it to win it, so I'm not worried about no alimony.
You're in for the long haul, right? So then you're telling us that you've been married 3 times, not to 3 different people, but to each other. You married 3 times. Yeah, why? Why?
Because I really love her.
That's the other part of loving your person. It's like certain things like, that's nice, honey. Thanks.
Well,
you don't have to do it again, though.
Okay. Another reason is like Mathew Whitehead, old school song. Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys talked a little bit about research and run, and then you turned around and gave examples of it, and and also the directions in the car, driving the car. I didn't push the OnStar button. My husband didn't ever want me to push the OnStar button, and so I just sat there and just watched him go the wrong way, because I learned that he did not like me doing that. He did not like me telling him what to do when it came to driving. So I became content in sitting, watching us go the wrong way.
Mhm.
until he finally asked me, do you think I should go this way?
Mhm.
And I talk about how I savored the moment of knowing that I had won. I savored that. But eventually I did tell him, the right way to go. But because I saw that, hence researched, I was able to run with the fact that not to do that again. I
Mhm.
knew that that was something that really he didn't care for. And so it
Mhm.
would have been crazy or futile, and it would not have enhanced our relationship for me to continue prodding an area that, he didn't like me prodding. So
Mhm.
I learned through research, watching him, not to do certain things.
Right.
I learned how to change my behavior
Mhm.
based on how our interaction would be. And so when I say research and run, you got to study your mate. You got to study your partner.
Right.
You got to learn each other. And you all did that. You guys talked about that beautifully. So thank you so much. And I just think that you guys hit on some great points. Michael's talked about how it's okay for men to be emotional. I like to say real men cry, and you can cry in front of other people and not feel that it makes you less than a man. I
Mhm.
think it makes you more of a man to see you express your emotions. Robbie talked about how let me get it right. Survive, thrive, and
Still
stay
alive.
alive. Still, yep. And Robbie got some beautiful shoes, you all. I'm telling you. I said, woo, look at those shoes. Okay, so we have to learn how to uh, fit within the parameters of enhancing each other. And
Mhm.
that's what I mean, enhancing each other. It means it doesn't make you any better than me or me any better than you. We come together as one,
Mhm.
because when you hurt, I hurt. And I love how you all also said that keep other people out of your relationship,
Yes.
because that has been a death of many relationships. And can I
Mhm.
go out on a limb here and say this as far as church is concerned too? Because the pastors become married to the church and
Mhm.
forget that that's God's bride, not theirs. So
Mhm.
you got to learn how to balance your life so
Yes.
that you can give what you need to give to help others. But
Mhm.
what happens when you pour it out everything into helping others and you have nothing left for your own home? That's
Mhm.
not, God is not glorified in that. So
Mhm.
we've got to learn how to balance life with each other. So
Mhm.
you guys are absolutely fit. And Dr. Marlena said, become complementary to each other. And
Mhm.
that's what you guys do. That's what you do. You complement one another. And I thank you so much for your wisdom. If there was one thing you could say to everybody listening, one piece of advice from each one of you all to just really sum up a lot of what you've learned in your 24 years of marriage, or 24 years of being together, and even having getting married 3 times, what would one dynamic word, and it doesn't have to be earth shattering, because it could be simple but it's dynamic still, what's the one word of advice that you would give people to continue on and help to build a better relationship?
I would say communication. You
Mhm.
have to talk to each other. You can't assume this person is thinking this way, or that person's, or yeah, that's I know what you're thinking. No, you don't. Ask the person what they're thinking. Ask the person how they are feeling. And when you're communicating your feelings, make it about you, how you're feeling, not downing or taking away from that other person. If your feelings are hurt, say my feelings are hurt and this is how I'm feeling, as opposed to you hurt my feelings, you did this to me. Don't, just communicate, talk to each other, because that's the only way you're going to start learning what you like, what you don't like, and be upfront and forthcoming. Because if you don't, it's not gonna work.
Right. And she doesn't mean womp, 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 womp communication. She means intentional communication where you have each other's undivided attention. This is the subject that we're going to talk about, this one particular subject, so we can communicate and then talk and listen
Listen.
to be heard and speak to be understood. You have 2 words. I can't have one. my words has to be self improvement.
Mm,
Instead of always pointing the finger at your spouse, look in the mirror at yourself first. What is it that I, Big Mike, needs to improve to be better for Big Mike, to be better for Robbie? So if I can handle that and improve myself, then undoubtedly she'll have to see the improvement in me and wherever she feels she may be lacking, even if I don't mention a few things, because I don't sweat small stuff. It's a lot of things that go on in relationships. I just don't say it and don't worry about it because you got the person you love, so everything else is incidental in my eyes. But when it comes to a major conversation, I always go back to self improvement first.
amen. Thank you so much. I'd like you all to revisit date night or date morning, if you will. And I'm not saying that, you have to go out, because you can actually create a very, very romantic, sexy environment in the house. So I'd like you all to revisit date night. I'm a date night guru. I mean, if you need to hide some interesting cards, play some hide and seek with your mate at home, revisit date night. And because date night is what you make it, or morning, whichever works for you, is what you make it. And it doesn't have to be outside the house. So I like you all to revisit date night. Amen. And so what are you guys doing? Tell me. You all have blessed us immensely with your words of wisdom, and literally it's been very wealthy. So thank you so much for blessing everybody listening. But how can we bless you? What are you guys involved in that we should know about? Something we should know about you.
Okay, I'll go first because Robbie was going to end up with our Inspired 2 family conversation on what she's doing. So everybody in the Inspired 2 family kind of know where I'm leaning towards. So Inspired 2, we have to go there. But what I'm personally involved in is we created a company, We Create Books, a manuscript development specialist company. And I've successfully um, have over 30 authors who have are now become published authors. I'm working with about 7 authors in different stages of their publications that's in the pipeline now. And some of those authors from the past are from 5 different countries as well. So it's not just domestically here, it's globally and internationally. And I've had no idea that this would be part of my calling. Again, being coachable, really quickly, short story. Um, my our coach, Dr. Dillon, said, Mike, you and your wife do 99% of your all's businesses together. You need your own business. Then he turned away and walked away. He never said what. So in part of those coaching sessions prior, I was always, and then this came to my mind. If you can find something that you can do that you're already doing for free, and you love to do it, that you've helped other people do it, just turn it into a business. I said, well, I've written my books. I've helped other people write books for free. Why not turn that into a business? Because that's where part of the skill set lies. So that came the birth of that particular business because I was coachable. Now, what if I wasn't coachable? I'd have missed that gym.
Yes.
Amen.
So now, like I said, he's going down his path because we were doing a financial business together. But he is a right brain person, and so that's a perfect business for him to take on. So on my side, I've got kind of 3 things going on. The first, I'll say the best for last. One is I am a financial coach. I help people look at their current finances and look at their finances, look at their goals, and put together a plan to help them realize those goals. I am also a licensed financial professional. I help people set up the necessary funds to help their family and to protect their families, do estate planning, do insurance, annuities for people that are retiring and want to roll things over. So I am a licensed financial professional. And last but not least, I am also a new talk show host. I have a show on the JD3TV.com network called Living Wealthy with Robbie, where Michael and I have created 7 Live Wealthy principles. Each of the letters in the word wealthy represent one of those principles. So my show is around the different principles like wealth mindset. How do you go about thinking about becoming wealthy? How do you go about having abundance in your life? So I start deep diving into some of our strategies and philosophies around that to help you start transforming your financial DNA because it's going to take, just like with through a marriage, you have to transform yourself to be from an individual to a couple. So you have to transform your financial DNA and get rid of some of the old school paradigms and things that you may have learned in the past or that you that was passed down from your family that may not be effective for you today. So I encourage people to watch the show. Reach out to me if they like to do a discovery session. They can reach out to me at JD3TV at tmaginc.com so that we can have some of those kind of conversations about helping you to grow your money, to keep your money, and to protect your money.
And if you have a show, we want to know. If you have a show, we want to know. And Road Tour, I have to give a shout out to Road Tour Eternity because they do all of the filming
and the
production, as well as the other companies, Skyler Books, who are in collaboration with myself as well. Dr. Liz Blanding, we're going to have an announcement, something coming out on the 30th. So there's a lot of cool things on our plate. Byron Day, his personal development program. So I can name a plethora of things that are in the pipe and a plethora of people, but we just want to say it takes a community, it takes a village, and it takes leadership. And we are in the Inspired 2 Leadership Program. The Inspired 2 Leadership Program. I just have to say that. I just love that because I just want to give credit to where my power is coming from as well, besides the almighty, the earthly power too. JD and Sister Carl, we thank all you all for opening up doors, not only for Mike and Robbie, but for a lot of us. And in order for you to continue to believe in us, we're going to keep on running the race to show the results. Okay? Thank you guys. We love you guys too.
And thank you, Pastor, for having us come to speak to your audience today. We really appreciate the faith and trust that you put in us. We don't take it for granted.
Thank you. Let's just ask really quickly. I know we're way far spent in time. Does anybody have any questions? And I think you have a guest on the line, Doctor. I remember her name starts with L.
Dr. Liz Blanding. I heard Byron Day.
Okay. Did you all want to say anything while you all have, if you're still on the conference line? Dr. Liz?
Yeah.
Okay, Byron, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Byron Day. And I just want to say that real quick. I personally known Mr. Mathews for well over 30 years. And I met his wife, Robbie. Matter of fact, his wife, Robbie, used to work with my brother when he was in corporate America. But I'll let her tell you the details of that story because I really don't know. But anyway, I just want to say that I've personally, with the coaching that Michael provides, I've personally discovered some things that I wasn't aware of about myself. And like they said, you have to have an open mind. Mine has to be open like a parachute. And because of the guidance and leadership that he provided, I discovered that I had a gift to create my own particular program. And this guy, let me tell you, he over delivers. I feel, and I mean every word, every bit of the word, over deliver. You're inspired to create and tell your story to get it out of, how does it go, get it out of your head so it can be read? I recommend you seek out the services of Mr. Bart and Robbie Mathews.
Wow.
Thank you, Byron. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Liz, are you still on the line? Okay. She may be gone. Does anyone have any questions for these esteemed guests? Anybody from the empowerment call have any questions? Okay. Dr. Kara, are you on the line? Okay. Well,
I have a question.
go ahead. Who are you? Tell us who you are.
My name is Terry. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay. Thank you.
And my question is, how do you keep your marriage fresh and flowing?
Ooh, well, this is a public show. So
being spontaneous, being wild and crazy, respectfully spontaneous, to do things when the other one just doesn't expect this is about to happen, no matter what that may be. Like she likes flowers, she likes roses, she likes me but doesn't like me to be silly, so I'm silly on certain occasions. Or we did have a recent date night. It was my turn to cook, and I act like I put something on it, but I knew it early in the morning I was going to take her out to dinner, and I waited for her to ask me about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I was a spontaneous date night, took her out to eat one of her favorite restaurants, and men just walk over and hold her hand or sit next to her. Or like when we started the show, I was like this. Just do things that you're not used to doing sometimes due to COVID, because when you're stuck in the house, you're kind of thinking, you forget this and you worry about all of the outside world, but you still here with this while you're inside. So being spontaneous and taking your eyes off of yourself. What is her favorite treat? She likes Haagen-Dazs ice cream. So, it doesn't have to be the major big things. It can be the small things. But most of the time when we go places, I drive 99% of the time, especially because she likes the cocktails when we go to places salsa. So one of us have to be sober to drive.
That's my margarita. You have to just have fun, enjoy each other, be each other's best friend. You can have your BFF, your BFM, that's fine. But you have to be each other's friends and just, make each other laugh and, just do, silly things, like I said, with dinner, when we're sitting down, we watch a movie, we eat dinner, turn off the phones and just be with each other. So that's really what it's all about. But the communication is important too. But just talk to each other. Find out what the other person likes and do a surprise thing for them. So he likes good food, so I like to make sure I cook nice meals and things that he sit there and he eats and like, this is so good. So the whole the way to a man's heart is to his stomach. That is true.
And that goes right back with research and run.
Yeah.
Know what they like, learn what they like, learn what excites them. You got to research in order to do that. You may not hit it dead on the head the first time, but keep trying until you find out, or even ask. Actually, asking questions can help you to determine what your mate loves or what they really enjoy. And then you start running with it. You start doing it. Don't just put it on the back burner, because I think Mike mentioned earlier, when you make her happy, it makes him happy. So when you begin to do things for your mate, it comes right back. It boomerangs back to you with joy too. So it's the relationship is not just about you; it's about both of you all. So learn how to find each other's happy spot, hot spot, if you will.
Yes.
And go ahead.
Role playing doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, okay. That's a good. Listen, I could tell you about some of the stuff I got in my closet I need to give away now, because it's gone now. But yeah, can I just add this one thing? This is really going to shock you all, but this is really the truth. I'm a person who likes to talk about sex, because sex is a taboo subject, and people need to talk about it so that they can connect better. So I like to bring it up. So I went to one of those stores one day, a Lover's Lane, and the lady asked me, "What would your husband not expect to see you in?" And I said, "This." He definitely wouldn't expect me. She's saying, "That's what you get." And let me tell you, I got it. I did. And let me tell you the excitement my husband experienced because I stepped outside of my comfort zone and did something that went surpassed me to make him excited. And OMG, you talking about an emotional connection. Yes, it was a good one. So thank you so much. Anybody else? One more question, and then we're going to close it down. One more question. Anybody else have a question on the phone line? Okay. All right.
All right,
Well,
awesome.
thank you so much. I'm going to bring Dr. Marlena back on. There she is. I'm still working with
Hi,
trying.
you're doing good. You're doing good. You took the first leap, and that's the best part. Robbie and Mike, I've been blessed back here. You know, I'm in this 29-year situation, and you know, I'm always looking to learn and grow. And you gave me some nuggets there. So personally, and for what I can do in my marriage, and I just love you. So I love it coming from you, wise individuals. So I do, and collectively wise couple. You know, so thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you for allowing me to be behind the scenes here. And you know, you took the leap in the launch, and now you can move forward.
Oh
Absolutely.
goodness. I gotta learn how to work these oh, look at that. But I wanted I'm still learning. There we go. That's what I needed. Okay.
Got it.
Research.
Push the button, Pastor Corey. Push the button.
There you go. Push the button. That's right. Don't be afraid to push the button.
Push the button.
I'm learning. So next week, actually on next Wednesday, I am excited to say that we will have Sir Dr. James and Lady Dr. Kara Scott Dentley. They will be our panelists for next week. And so don't miss this because we're going to continue to keep bringing you hot power couples to pour into you, whether you're married or in relationship. We want to keep pouring into you so that your relationship can be better. And I thank you all so much for you all. You just don't know how nervous I was. Oh God. But you guys made it a joy. Plum pleasing pleasure. Okay. That's what Doc always says. Plum pleasing pleasure. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Dr. Marlena, always teaching me. Thank you so much. I love you guys. And I pray that you guys got something extraordinary out of it. Go back, listen to it again. Send it, share it, because the nuggets that were dropped will bless your lives. So thank you all so much that we went a bit over time. God bless you all. You want to add something else, Robbie?
Oh, no, thank you to everyone. And I posted in Facebook a thank you as well. So,
thank you so much. Mwah! Love you guys. Wonderful job. All right, God bless everybody. We're gonna close it out. Oh, I should you all can go now. I just need to do the last minute announcements on our line. So thank you all so much. I'm gonna put you on.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Dr. Marlena, you could stay with me for a minute, but we are Total Life Changes, and we are literally making a difference in people's lives. That's what we want to do. It's all about all natural, healthy products. These calls were started by Dr. Kara Scott Dentley. The empowerment calls are Tuesday through Friday at 8 a.m. So please keep on joining us with these calls. Tomorrow we'll have Real Talk Rita. For Thursday and Friday will be Mr. Mindset. You don't want to miss them. Those numbers are 302-202-1110. The access code is 713799. And we'll be right back here Wednesday. But again, the empowerment calls are Tuesday through Friday. And we just want to bless you and your life and your family. Join Total Life Changes. We have an overview presentation, I believe tonight at 6 p.m. on Zoom. That number is 666-697-0540. I'm going to get that ticker tape going, Dr. Marlena. I know you know how to do it. Dr. Marlena is still teaching me.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. And then there will maybe a training after that at 8 o'clock. 666-697-0540. Other than that, your health matters. My health matters. We matter. And we just want to thank you all for joining us. 302-202-1110. The PIN code is 713-799. We'll be back not live tomorrow, but on the conference line. So join us tomorrow as we come back to continue empowering you to be a better you. Anything you want to add as a closing, Dr. Marlena?
No, it's just you did beautiful. You know, you got to start somewhere. So now you can launch from there, and you just improve upon it as you go. So and the power couple you chose to launch with was dynamic. So Robbie and Mike, I just love it. You know, and that's what we have to get to in our relationships. Be able to take the bitter with the sweet and just not sweat the small stuff.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll be back again next week. Next Wednesday, we will have Sir Dr. James Dentley and Lady Dr. Kara Scott Dentley for our next couple. So you don't want to miss that. Look them up. You'll be hearing more about them. Dr. Kara, you on the line?
I am. As soon as I walked in from doing mommy duties, I walked right into wifey duties. Can you stand this Sunday? But it's all right. That's what we're talking about on this with these calls and with this Zoom about just stepping into that role of being of help. So and that's in all of our relationships. So I'm not going to prolong the call. Great call. Thank you, Pastor Capitoria. Thank you, Mike and Robbie. You all, our family, all of you. Mike and Robbie, we've been knowing each other for years now, and we do so many different things together. We travel all around the world together. So great job. Thank you all for sharing your hearts and being authentic and genuine and just really keeping it real always. All right. I love you.
All right.
I love you too, Pastor Capitoria. Thank you for the work that you're doing and for, just expanding the understanding of what it takes to make any relationship work.
Thank you so much, Dr. K. We look forward to hearing from you and hubby next week. So thank you so much. And God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day. Love you. And keep on living, because life is for living. So keep living. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Marlena. Thank you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody else.
Thank you, Dr. Marlena.
Oh, hi, love. You're welcome.
Thank everybody that participated. Mwah. Love,
Bye-bye.
much love to you. Bye-bye.
You should have it, Dad.